Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the Pranic Healing Podcast. On this episode, we have Karthick Sudan Raja, and we're going to talk about a meditation you've probably heard about on this podcast. And we're going to devote the entire episode diving deep on what is Twin Hearts meditation, why is it important, and how do you practice it. And before we get to this topic, let's welcome Karthik. Welcome, Karthik.
Hey everyone, Atma Namaste. Thank you, Dr. Jason. Thank you for inviting me to the podcast. Really excited
Yeah.
to be here.
Thank you for joining us all the way from Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, right?
Yes, that's where I live.
Excellent. Excellent. So, Karthik, I wanted to also take this opportunity before we start, if you could talk a little bit about yourself and give yourself a little bit of an introduction and how you kind of, got into pranic healing and, how it's been for you. How's your journey been?
Yes, absolutely. I work for Amazon. I'm based out of Nashville. I am originally from India and I moved to the States back in 2013, 2014 time frame for my master's program. And I started pranic healing around 2010 when I was in my college back in home. It was a funny story. I mean, we boys were coming back from an industrial visit in the summer holidays. So I had a throbbing headache, and at that point, two of my friends had already learned pranic healing. They said, "Okay, we'll try something on your temples," where I had terrible headache. After the session on a moving bus, I mean, I still was having my headache, but I felt a vibration, a sort of sensation on both my temples when they were not touching me. So that intrigued me, made me ask a lot of questions, figure out what this was all about. And they just took me to a full moon meditation that was organized a week later. And that's when my journey actually started in pranic healing. One led to the other, and
Excellent.
it's been a good journey so far.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it sometimes, yeah, when your headache becomes a blessing, right? Just a simple little headache, and it turns out to be something way more beautiful than we expected. So thank you for sharing that introduction. And I think the kind of going about the topic today, right? Because we're going to talk about Twin Hearts meditation, and we're going to dive deep into it because I know you mentioned healing, right? Healing from your headaches, and we know that Twin Hearts can be very healing as well. But before we get started on that, can you just tell us in general what is Twin Hearts meditation? Again, why is it called Twin Hearts, and why did Master Choa develop this meditation? Can you just give us the simple, basic, fundamental laydown of again what is Twin Hearts?
All right. So the name Twin Hearts actually comes from the chakras that is present in the energy body, and which will be used in the practice of the meditation. Basically, practicing loving kindness, right? So when we go to the gym, we have our leg day, we'll have our biceps day, we'll have our back, we'll have our core and abs, right? So similarly, exercising loving kindness is also a practice, right? And the way that we practice is by activating heart chakra, which is responsible for your physical heart, and as well as which is responsible for the the energies of loving kindness, happiness, the ability to share with other people,
Mm-hmm.
caringness, compassion, generosity, and all these loving qualities,
So yeah,
and
positive, loving qualities.
positive
And,
loving
and
qualities.
where's the heart chakra located for those that don't know the heart chakra? Where is it located in the body?
The heart chakra is located in front of the physical heart,
Front
like
of the
here.
physical heart. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Good.
yeah.
So that's a
And
heart
this is
chakra.
what this is the first heart chakra, and we also use another chakra on top of your crown. In
Mm-hmm.
Sanskrit, it is called as Sahasraram chakra, which means a lotus of thousand petals, something like that.
Mm.
The reason it is called twin hearts is because you use the heart chakra and another inner layer of the crown chakra also resembles like a heart chakra. So we are going to use these two chakras for the exercising of loving kindness, and that is why it's called twin hearts meditation.
And that's interesting because I think that for our audience that may may not understand chakras, what you're saying is there's the heart chakra, which is at the center of the chest, but then
Mhm.
there's also this crown chakra that's above your head, and inside of that crown chakra is the heart chakra. It's like almost a version of it inside at the core. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the inner layer of the crown chakra resembles the heart chakra. So that is
Hmm.
why it's called the twin hearts chakra, twin
Twin
hearts
hearts,
meditation.
right? Because there's the heart in your chest, and then there's the heart, also called the crown chakra, above your head. Now, what is the crown chakra for? Because I knew you said that heart chakra was for like positive emotions, right? But what about the crown chakra?
The crown chakra is the entry point for the divine energy to come into a system. So, if you see the pictures of saints and yogis in different religions and traditions, you will see a brilliant light, coming into their head, and which is also depicted through a brilliant halo around their head or the backside of the head. That simply represents an activated crown chakra. All that means is the saint or a yogi is able to bring in a lot of divine energy into the system. In Christianity, this is called as the descent of the Holy Spirit. And different religions have different ways of actually addressing this and educating it to the humanity of that specific time.
Hmm. So that's interesting. So what you're saying is that the crown chakra is almost like this opening, opening for the energy body to receive this divine energy. And like you said, in Christianity, it's also known as the descent of the Holy Spirit. Now, Karthik, for again, I just want to be very basic and fundamental so that everyone can understand. When you say divine energy coming down to the crown chakra, what does that mean, right? What does it mean for the Holy Spirit to descend? Why is the energy divine?
Because of the vibrations of the energy. That's what it sets apart, right? So for example, let's take the frequency of a rainbow, of the colors, right? The sky is blue because of the refraction index and the ability of the blue or the indigo or the purple to reflect itself on a higher note, right? So each color has a certain frequency and a vibration. So similarly, each sound also has a certain frequency and vibration. So similarly, every energy that we deal with has has a certain frequency and energy to deal with. So for example, finer vibrations like loving kindness and happiness can be elevating, can be uplifting to a specific individual. So similarly, what we call spiritual energy is basically a refined form of energy that is abundant throughout the world, throughout the universe.
Mm. Yeah, and thank you for describing that because it sounds like this divine energy is higher in vibration and lighter and also more subtle, right?
Mhm.
Versus perhaps lower vibrating energies like negative emotions like stress or anger or fear. Is that correct?
That is right.
Okay. So it seems like with Twin Hearts, again for the audience, you focus on the heart chakra, which is for like human love, human compassion towards yourself, towards others. But this crown chakra also being the entry point for divine energy almost has a universal or like unconditional love to it as well. It's almost like a higher form of love. Is that correct?
Yep, that is right.
Yeah.
There are different forms of love, right? So there is physical attraction, there is emotional attraction, there is intellectual attraction. So the higher level of love is basically trying to be one with all. This is called as in theosophy they call it as intuition, or wisdom, or loving. Spiritual oneness, the ability to feel that the principle of oneness with all human beings, and not only human beings but with animals, with birds, etc.
Hmm.
And that is where the groups exist, the group work, materializes itself uh,
Hmm.
in the lower planes.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, so it sounds like again, there's this concept in the law of oneness, right? In which we are connecting the crown chakra to. And I really want to stress and emphasize this because that's where kind of the power of Twin Hearts meditation comes from. It's a very simple meditation, as we'll get to, but a very powerful one because of this crown chakra, which is usually not connected with the heart. And I think that's the key because the key is, like you said, the crown chakra is the entry point for this divine energy. And when this divine energy comes down, it has certain positive effects on the body, right? Um, and part of it is this universal love, right, for
Mhm.
every person, every being, animals, plants, Earth. So that's very interesting. Um, I wanted to kind of get into kind of the steps and the phases of doing Twin Hearts, because it might seem a little bit complicated initially, right? But it matters. The sequence matters. So can you take us step by step through how does one practice Twin Hearts meditation?
Okay. So really, I think let's take the example of going to the gym, right? So let's say we want to work our back, or let's say we want to work our a specific muscle of the body. You really need to do a simple warm up to prepare your body, right? I mean, sometimes if you do not do those after the exercises, you might feel soreness, or a good pain that could hurt your muscle, which will impact your recovery in a longer term. So the analogy basically is, without having without being able to activate that loving kindness, that ability to show loving kindness towards people that or this lower correspondence of love, it is just quite impossible, it is just quite impossible for us to tap into that higher frequency. So it is just a stepping stone for us to activate that higher frequency. So really, the first step is to think of a happy event that you've had in your past. Maybe your first paycheck, your wedding day, whatever it is, and focus on your heart chakra so that it may activate. And the second step is to think of another happy event, and just have your awareness on the crown chakra so that it activates. And
And
um,
and when you say activate, what does that mean for the heart chakra to be activated, for the crown chakra to be activated? What does that mean?
So, just simply having your awareness on a specific area in front of your heart, physical heart, your heart chakra will start to bloom. I mean, even if you don't do that, when you're just recollecting that memory from your past, you are automatically going to laugh, or at least have a smile on your face, right? And what that smile will do is, just um, it will just blossom your front heart chakra. So that is the first step in the
Okay.
meditation.
Yeah, so it sounds like first we think of one happy moment to activate first the heart chakra. And then we think of another happy moment to activate the crown chakra. And it's important to do the heart chakra first because, like we said, the heart is within the crown. So it's almost like the key to the lock, as we say, right?
That is
Um,
correct.
the fastest way to activate the crown chakra is through the heart chakra. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I think that's a very important detail that not a lot of people understand. And we were talking about like the energetic anatomy about the chakras. This is a very subtle yet important reason why Twin Hearts meditation is so powerful because you can activate the crown chakra to a higher degree. Now we thought about the happy moment, right? So activated the heart, activated the crown. What do we do next?
Yeah, just to provide some additional context, right? So
Please, yeah.
there are a lot of lower correspondences and higher correspondences that exist in this universe, in this world. And if we really want to study these things and break it down, it is good for us to keep an open mind and dissect this. For example, right? Um, one example of, a lower correspondence in terms of creation is, reproduction, through our sexual organs, right? Babies, we produce babies for the humanity to, exist. And another higher correspondence of creativity is music, or art, or anything creative that we can, the sky's the limit, right? So that is another form of creation. So similarly, there is also a lower correspondence for love and a higher correspondence for love. And without having the lower correspondence, without feeling that lower correspondence of love, which is basically a basic tendency of, human beings to give, share, and show love to the people that we know, it is just quite impossible for us to tap into this high frequency or the energy that is coming into our ground. And now, once this is done, what we do is we are going to do another, um, 10, 12 minutes of exercising loving kindness, right? So, what we do is we visualize Earth as a small ball in front of us, and
You said we visualize the Earth as a small ball.
yes,
Okay.
as a small ball in front of us, like maybe a
Okay.
tennis ball or something in front of us, and we are just going to use ourselves as a channel to conduct that energy of loving kindness and
Mm.
share it with the entire earth,
Mm.
including, human beings, birds, animals, everybody.
And
So,
and when you say channel, um, are you saying that we are almost like a pipe for this energy? That we're not blessing the earth, but we're being the pipe that holds the energy that blesses the earth. Is that correct?
so so the human system, or the bodies that we have is like, there's like tons of wires, or nadis or meridians that they call in, Indian terminology, right? So there are channels through which we can conduct those spiritual energy, like pipe, like you said, right? So we do not want to hold that energy, but just allow ourselves to conduct that energy. So as you do, what happens is, like, so when you have when there is a copper wire, right? So it conducts the electricity. So you do not resist the flow of electricity. So similarly, there is this abundant amount of energy and abundant amount of loving kindness that is present in our solar system, right? So all we are doing is just allowing ourselves, tapping into that energy, and just allowing ourselves as a instrument for that loving energy to flow, and use that to focus on a specific part of the earth, the entire earth, to bless. Does that make sense?
Mm. Okay. So just to kind of recap, it sounds like you said, the crown chakra is the entry point for divine energy. So it's like we're receiving the water, and we're the pipe to use this spiritual energy, right? This water to bless the earth, right? And in doing so, it sounds like we have, like you said, like a circuit. We're like a copper wire which this electricity flows through us. And by doing so, what happens, right? What happens to us? What happens to the earth? This energy, like you said, we don't hold on to this energy. We just give it. And a lot of times, other teachings like, oh, you have to keep the energy for yourself. You have to store it, right? You have to keep it for yourself for your own health. But what is this process doing? How is this process of being a blessing to Mother Earth and allowing yourself to be a channel? What are the benefits there?
Yeah. So let's take the example of sun, right? What sun does is, sun continuously, sends of energy to the entire solar system and the entire planetary systems, right? And the planets absorb the energy, and after that has been, processed, it sends out the excess energy to the the environment and the kingdoms that thrive in it, like for example, human beings, birds, animals, etc., etc., right? So similarly, when this energy comes into our system, we conduct it, like how, you know the planet conducts the energy from sun, and the energy is going to circulate in our system like how blood flows throughout our system, and the excess energy will be released into the exercise process that we are currently doing. So in this case, you are exercising loving kindness, so you're trying to tap into the energy of cosmic love, and as a result what happens is this energy flows through you, and you're trying to share it with everybody in the earth. And as a result, we have to remember this is an exercise we are doing. Remember, it's like it's loving kindness day, right? So what happens, this is an exercise for us to activate our front heart chakra. you know it's like a step down transformer, right? So as you are able to hold more and more energy, your ability to withstand energy and pass it on to others increases,
It's
right?
like working out
It's
the
like
muscle, like you mentioned.
working out the muscle, or
Mm.
the quality of the wire that is conducting the electricity. It's like almost going to that zero resistance part, right? So once there is zero resistance, anything can actually pass through that wire. So similarly, this part of exercise that we do, it activates our heart. I mean, even though if it is temporary, we keep doing that exercise over and over and over and again, so that it becomes bigger and bigger.
So
And
it sounds like as we practice this more, practice hearts more, this energy flowing through us, we not only receive this energy, but the amount of energy that we can hold, withstand, and receive and give increases.
correct.
Okay. And what does
So
that do? What's the
so
point of receiving and giving more of the spiritual energy? What's the point
so
of that?
so you really do not have to worry about, okay, am I going to have enough energy, because all I'm doing is blessing and giving out energy. um, it's just the nature of our design, right? We cannot keep inhaling, right? So we have to exhale before we inhale again. So similarly, we cannot just be giving or receiving. So it is a continuous process. You receive to give, you receive to give. So it's a cycle.
That's
It's
what
a
Master
cycle.
Choa said, right? And I think that's an important uh, point you're making, Karthik, because a lot of energy healing and meditation practices focus on just receiving, take, all for me, all for me. But as we know, there's a process, there's a circuit. As you give, you receive, and as you receive, you give, right? And that has the benefits that you're talking about. Because yeah, and I love the example you said. Like you can't keep on breathing in. At some point, you have to breathe out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah,
So, it's a wonderful opportunity and a way for us to experience that energies of loving kindness, right? For example, we use the prayer of Saint Francis, prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi. He was a saint in an olden a long time ago. So the prayer, what the prayer does is, it goes like, make me an instrument of peace, right? And the moment you have a conscious intention, an intelligent, conscious will that you want yourself to be a channel of peace, you can, if you're sensitive enough, you can actually feel that energy of peace flowing through you. And then and then it shifts to loving kindness, and then you can actually feel the energy of loving kindness. There's a huge difference between these two.
mm,
So so the ability to feel love actually increases within you, because you're just
mm.
being the channel of that love.
Interesting, interesting. And we don't have to believe in Christianity or to do this prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi, because it sounds like he was a saint, right?
Yeah, he was a saint. But I was born Hindu.
Hmm.
I keep doing this, and I know I have a lot of friends who practice Islam. They do this.
The
religion
universal prayer is what you're
is,
saying.
yeah, it is just a universal prayer.
Yeah,
It is not confined to a specific
right.
sect or anything. Yeah.
And I think that's another very important point with Twin Hearts meditation, right? Especially in pranic healing, because Master Choa really studied all different religions and demystified it and brought the teachings to be really, really simple, really effective, right? It makes so much
Yeah.
sense. And
Yeah.
part of it that we use in our practice in Twin Hearts meditation is the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi, as Karthik mentioned, right? We use this prayer to be the channels, right, for loving kindness, for hope, for faith, for goodwill and the will to do good, right? It's just words that help guide this energy to help bless the earth, and it's more than just words. It's a very powerful prayer, and of course, Saint Francis was a very enlightened spiritual being for sure. Um, and yeah, so okay, so we activate the heart, we activate the crown, we bring our hands into blessing position, which looks like hands at chest level. We imagine the earth the size of a small ball, right? And we're blessing, doing this prayer. So what happens when we're done doing the prayer? What happens next?
Yeah. So once your heart chakra is sufficiently activated, then you do the same exercise by focusing on your crown chakra, and then your crown chakra is also sufficiently activated. Now, we are in a perfect state to actually get into the meditation. The actual meditation itself is about maybe 5 or 6 minutes long. What happens is Master Choa will chant Om. You have to focus on the Om, and he will ask you to visualize a brilliant light or star on top of your crown, top of your head. You have to visualize that and focus on that. And then he also asks you to keep your attention or awareness between the gap between the two ohms. So these
Mm,
three things is the actual meditation. And then
yeah.
once this is done, you can allow your consciousness to actually expand, and there'll be about 2 to 3 minutes of silence. You can there's During that specific time, there's tremendous amount of energy actually that comes into your system, and since your crown is activated, your consciousness should actually go to the buddhic plane. That is the
Mm,
ultimate goal of
okay.
pranic healing, or the
Okay.
twin hearts meditation. Yeah.
Um, Very interesting because you're using some very technical and powerful words there. So I want to break it down for our audience. So after the prayer, where we bring our hands down, okay, and Master Choa chants the mantra Om. Right? It's a very probably the most universal mantra that we hear all the time. And you mentioned something very important. You mentioned that while Master Cho is chanting this mantra Om, again, Master Cho is the founder of pranic healing and Twin Hearts meditation. You said that Master Choa tells us to focus on a light or a star above our crown, and for us to focus on the silence or the gap between the two ohms. Now, does that help us expand our consciousness? Is that what you mean? Is that the
Yep.
process of which
Yep.
we expand our consciousness?
Yes, I'll tell you how. So, for example, right? So, let's say right now we are in our waking consciousness, we are in the physical body, we are in the physical realm, right? So, this is the physical plane. And let us say, when we have emotions, or when we feel energies related to loving kindness or anger, or stress, or hatred, whatever it is, you are functioning on a different plane, or basically a different world. And basically when you're studying, or let's say you're studying physics or mathematics or whatever it is, you are trying to utilize the mental matter, and by doing so you are also existing in a plane called mental world. So these three planes are the basic fundamentals for any spiritual practitioner who would like to actually practice enhanced meditation, in anybody, right? So eh, eh, whether we like it or not, we are unconsciously functioning in these planes, and when we sleep, we go into these planes, which is vaguely registered into our brains as what we call as dreams, right? So the effect of twin hearts meditation is to surpass this, and being able to consciously, when you are awake, attain that higher level of planes. So the intuition
Hmm.
plane or buddhic plane is just the next plane that is after that mental plane, right? So that is where you feel that, sense of loving kindness and oneness with everybody, right? Like, for example, the saint we just talked about, Saint Francis of Assisi, right? So he's probably functioning in that plane.
Hmm.
So so um, the goal of twin hearts meditation is not just to, bless earth, but also to elevate your consciousness while you are present in the physical body to a higher plane, so that you can be of a greater use.
Okay, there was a lot there to unpack, especially for people that might not even understand, energy or chakras. But it sounds like, from what you're saying, Karthik, is that unconsciously we are connected to not only the physical plane that we're aware of, but the emotional plane, the mental plane, which is our thoughts, and even in a higher plane, which you call the intuitional plane or the Buddhic plane, which is perhaps where some of these higher, more refined energies come from, right? Especially, when we talk about, more evolved spiritual figures like Saint Francis of Assisi. So it sounds like we we can consciously tap into that by doing twin hearts meditation, by focusing on that light and the gap, right? So that's very, very interesting. And it sounds like by doing so we become the channels for this blessing. Of course, that's the whole point of twin hearts. It's a service based meditation, but also, twin hearts is very healing too, right? We A lot of people get healed physically, emotionally, mentally. Is that where the healing energy and the process happens as well?
Yeah, the purification basically happens when we get rid of the energies that is not needed, right? So it's basically like standing underneath a waterfall, like you feel refreshed, right? I mean,
It's like a
maybe
shower, a spiritual shower.
a shower, like a shower, or a huge. It's like, standing under Niagara, right? I mean, just kidding, but something like that, right? So it washes out all the heavy content in your bodies, right?
Mm.
So what that happens is, as you keep doing this regularly, your physical body is going to be built with matter that is more refined, you
Mm.
know um, your physical body, solid, liquid, gas, is made up of atoms and molecules, right? So
Yeah,
this energy that comes into the system over a period of time, again and again and again, is going to have an impact on the quality or the vibration of the physical body, and that is when, your body gets healed, you be healthy and all that stuff,
because
right?
at the
So
end of the day, like we
yeah,
talk about, everything is energy, everything is in vibration. So when you can connect to this higher, more refined vibration, it has a simulation effect, right? And when we purify ourselves of these lower energies, right? Congested energies, as we say, energies that basically don't serve you, the healing process gets accelerated. If you have something physical, emotional, right? As we know, that sound about right?
yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely.
So so now that we finished the gap, we finished, we put our hands down, we listen to mantra om, we focus on a light above our crown, right? And then we listen to the silence, stay still about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we come back, right? What happens when we come back?
So when you come back to the waking consciousness, you can, when you come back to the physical body again, first thing you to do is just, enjoy the meditation. It's a wonderful experience that you have had. And then you again visualize the earth as a small ball in front of you to release the excess energy you may have after the meditation. And then after that, what you do is you visualize a brilliant light going through the feet and through the base of your spine into the mother earth, and this is the process of rooting. So we again try to connect
This is also
ourselves
called
to the mother.
grounding,
It is called as grounding as well.
grounding or rooting. Okay.
Rooting, yeah. So just to pull back a consciousness to the physical body, something like,
Mm.
you know, when you wake up, right, you're dizzy, right, you're fuzzy, right, so you just try to move your body, to ensure that your consciousness is in the physical realm or the real
Because
world.
that's what happens when people meditate too much, or it's like, oh, you're in airy fairyland, right? Your energy is too high, you have to bring it down. So I find that the grounding is what Karthik's talking about is very important, because we want to bring that energy down and use it for our physical body, right, for health, or just getting things done and being rooted to earth, because we're on earth, right? um so interesting. And then I think that's it, right? So that's that. And it's about 20 minutes, and it's recommended we do this every day. And there's so many miracle stories of people doing Twin Hearts meditation, right? So many miracle stories. I know for myself, it's been really amazing, really helpful for anxiety, stress, all these emotional things. But it sounds like you can apply it to so many other areas too, right? Besides emotions, besides your physical health, right? I like the benefits you mentioned. Can you talk about that? And do you have any stories about the miracles and the success of doing or practicing Twin Hearts regularly?
Yeah, definitely. I think you become more calm, and you know there's a good clarity in thinking that you can get. You know, at least for myself, what I've observed is when I initially started, it really helped me with my studies. I wasn't really able to focus on my studies before, but after this, I feel that my concentration has developed, and my ability to focus on a specific task that if I want to has developed.
Should have been
Um,
practicing this since day one of college. I wish I had it. Okay, studies and concentration. Good. Okay.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, I think that's a really great point. And I know that people, even financially, right? Sometimes if you run a business, right, just doing Twin Hearts regularly, increases your prosperity energy, right? Your prosperity energy, not only for yourself, but your business. So it really has a multi-dimensional, complete, whole, benefit to anyone in everyone's life in all areas. So that's so amazing about Twin Hearts. And that's, even though it's so simple, it's so powerful. And as we know, you have to try it. You have to practice it. We can talk about it all we want, right? But like yourself, right, when you got that healing from for that headache, and then they took you to full moon meditation, which you also still do Twin Hearts, by the way. But during the full moon, it's special because there's a even greater downpour of energy, right? That's why we meditate on full moons. Is that correct?
it is better to align ourselves with, the reason why we meditate on full moon is something like this. Um, it's better to spiritually align with the goodness in us rather than focusing on not so good things.
Mm.
So that
Mm.
is the reason why you meditate on the full moon meditation,
Sure.
full moon time. And another thing also is that, um, it is what the yeah, that is basically it.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I think I know where you were going, but maybe a little bit for next time. Next time, in terms of the higher spiritual meanings of full moon. Um, Thank you so much, Karthik. I think that this was a really good episode in really explaining not only the steps of Twin Hearts, but the reason why. And I think a lot of people kind of get mixed up with it. So I loved how you answered everything step by step, giving us explanations, giving us, the deeper meaning, right? When you say the descent of the Holy Spirit, which people have heard of, right? And again, this is all universal. Prayer Saint Francis of Assisi, it's all universal. And at the end of the day, Twin Hearts meditation, activating the heart, activating the crown, allows yourself to be this channel for the divine energy to bless Mother Earth. And as you give, you receive. As you give, you receive. Right? So again, if you need health, you bless people that need health. If you need finances, you bless people with prosperity. If you need mental emotional health, you bless those who need mental emotional health. So again, there's a giving and receiving aspect that Master Choa has emphasized in this meditation is just an amazing practice to help facilitate healing on so many levels. I wanted to kind of end this conversation, Karthik. So let's say someone off the street asks you, "Hey, what's Twin Hearts meditation? What would you tell them, and what advice would you give them?"
I mean, the key is in practice, right? Consistency, right? Like you're not going to get six packs, if you go to gym for like 2 days or 3 days.
Really?
Forget it,
Oh
right?
man, I thought I could do it. Okay, all right,
So
that crossed
so
that
so
out.
so really it's like how an athlete trains for for Olympics, right, or a major world championship, right? So that should be the mentality, or the mental mode of someone who's in the spiritual path as well. So or not even spiritual path, like if you want to try it out, you should have that full, you should go all in and try to validate how this is working, if it's
Mm,
not working, why it is not working, and kind of like dissect it, rather than just you know okay, this is another thing that I'm going to do. No, I mean, if you do
yeah,
something, just put all the 100% or
100%
thousand
effort, right? No slacking, and I think that's with everything, right? Whether it's like riding a bike. How do you expect to ride a bike just doing it the first time, right? It's learning how to swim. You gotta put your practice into it. Same thing for meditation. Same thing for Twin Hearts. And I loved what you said. It's you have to learn, you have to experiment, you have to come to your own conclusion, right? We're telling you all these steps, right? But you really have to try it for yourself and see for yourself, right? We can't. Master Choa definitely emphasized that. He said that you have to come to your own conclusion, so you have to experience it for yourself. And if your experience is just like all of our experiences, right, with Karthik and myself, and how amazing Twin Hearts meditation it is, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer why you wouldn't want to practice it. So, again, I thank you so much, Karthik. I had such a great conversation with you today. I learned so much, even for myself, just listening to. I've been practicing this for many years, like yourself, and I'm like, some of the things that you said kind of reminded me of the importance of Twin Hearts and how it works. So I appreciate you very much, and we'll link Karthik's information down below because he runs the pranic healing activities in the Nashville area in Tennessee. So if you have any questions and you're in the area, please feel free to reach out to Karthik. And then we hope to see everyone else in the next episode of the Pranic Healing Podcast. All right. Take care, everyone.